Imagine you were born as a twin, and on your day of birth, what is supposed to be the happiest day of your parents' life, someone comes, switches you out with a dead baby, and takes you, and leaves and raises you, leading your actual birth parents to believe that their child had died at birth and that they only have one son and one daughter. Today we're talking about Weather Report, otherwise known as Wes, otherwise known as the baby who got stolen. And if I'm being honest, there aren't many people or characters in JoJo that I feel actual genuine sadness for, or I even feel bad for. Weather Report is definitely one of them, because when we see him, when he's even introduced to us, he has amnesia. He can't remember anything. He can't remember his real name. That's why they still just call him Weather Report. But when you find out the history and find out just what his brother did to him, because again, you could make the argument that yes, his brother didn't know that the Triple K would come after him, but you could not make the argument that his brother was still fucking up his life. I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. Let's get into this backstory. Of course, you know it will lead up. Born on June 5th, 1972 as Domenico Pucci, Weather Report ended up being stolen by a woman whose baby had passed away after she had given birth to the baby. And from there, he was raised as Wes. His first name was Wes. And while he was under that name, he was a juice delivery boy. Now, one day, I'm pretty sure something from Perla, who is Pucci and he didn't know, the younger sister, he said he stopped something from getting stolen from her. And within 2 weeks' time, they started dating. Now, pause. There's a big issue for multiple reasons. Because for one, now you have Weather Report dating his younger sister unknowingly. And for two, no one at this point knows that they are related, like at all. Well, no one except Pucci, because once Pucci finds out, he starts trying to extort options that would hurt his sister the least. And that's when he calls a private detective agency. And if you remember correctly, that private detective agency would end up being the Triple K. Now, what they did was pretty vital. They looked into Weather Report's mother's records and found out that his stepfather was actually an African American man. Yeesh. So like it was the Deep South in the 1940s, they did a lot of unholy, unsane things to Weather Report, and they made Perla, his girlfriend at the time, watch while insulting her. Low-key, I'm pretty sure they hit her up just a little bit. It was a bad situation. Really, again, this is Pucci's fault. And before y'all come in my comments, oh, he didn't know it was the Triple K. Tell your sister to stop dating you. Get an ancestry test. What are we talking about? Do something other than that. Literally, everything I'm talking about takes place in the mid-80s. What? Come on, bro. Like, this specific part takes place in the mid-fucking 80s. You can't tell me there weren't ancestry tests or something of that effect in the 80s. Pucci, what are you doing? That's not smart. That's actually pretty dumb. But anywho, after the attack, Perla cuts Weather Report down, which I'm not going to say where he was. Just know she cut him down. And then after she checked his post and realized she thought he didn't have a post, when in reality it was a very faint post, she jumped off a cliff. And before Weather Report could even want to follow suit, Pucci had stabbed himself with an arrow, giving not only him stand powers, but also Weather Report stand powers. So now, once he regains consciousness, he cannot die. Well, he can, but he can't die off his own free will, meaning he can't choose the easy way out. At least that was his thoughts. As it said, whenever he tried to jump off a cliff, the wind would blow him back onto the side of the mountain. Whenever he tried to drown himself, the water would push itself back to shore. Whenever he tried to, the gun would be jammed with water. Oh yeah, also he did go to that quote unquote private detective agency, and he made them give him information on Poochie. But it was on the 4th day of him waking up and having his stand powers to where snails started to fall from the sky, and Poochie pulled up on him and he gave him the real news. He told him, yo, we're brothers. Not only that, we're twins. And then you know what he did? Immediately wiped his fucking memory, took his memory disk with White Snake, and then for the cherry on top, he had that nigga imprisoned. For what, you may ask? Attempted murder. 6 years. Crazy. Now that we finished his backstory, I think y'all can understand why I feel so bad for him. Really think about it. You just met this girl. You thought she was cool. You thought she was cute. Whatever the case was. Y'all start dating. Then her brother, who turns out to be your brother too, calls the triple K on you. They do very unholy and unnice things. Your girlfriend cuts you down from a tree, takes your pulse, thinks you're gone, and then she jumps off a cliff. So once you wake up, you see her off a cliff. So that means in the matter of a week or less, your whole life got turned upside down because you wanted to be a good Samaritan and stop someone from robbing a nice young woman. Y'all see where good deeds get you? I'm joking. Of course, I'm joking. But in all seriousness, this man, Weather Report, didn't have his memories for so long after him and Poochie had that little scuffle and Poochie took his memories. Poochie was basically controlling this man damn near for years on end. I think decades. Because you look at the backstory, they were teens when it happened. Weather Report and Poochie are both 39 in part 6. They are both 39 at the start of part 6. And by the end, they're about to turn 40. So imagine 22 years, up to at least 22 years of your life has been robbed from you. It's been stolen by your own brother. What would you do? Well, I'm about to show y'all what Poochie did. I mean, not Poochie. Well, technically Poochie. I mean, they have the same last name. So after Donatello versus, one of Dio's sons came and gave Weather Report back his memories. That man was a demon. Like, a real fucking demon. Because you'll have to remember, Weather Report was never able to fully get his anger out for all the events that happened to him within that time frame. This is essentially like him picking up where he left off 20-something odd years ago. And that's a bad situation if you're a regular ass person and you're not Poochie. Because for the regular people that were around him, they were getting cooked. He had put an extreme amount of water in someone, turning them into a damn blob. He was electrocuting women, talking about, oh yeah, we just gotta chill. Sitting on the bench, not trying to chase Poochie down no more. While all this is happening, an infestation of snails are falling from the sky and coming everywhere in Orlando. So I'm pretty sure it was because Weather Report and Poochie both had their powers at the same time or something. It had to be something like that. But Weather Report, he says he needs to up the score on Poochie and so dive her down, because Anasui's with him. And Weather Report, they both use their stands to go search around the town, and they don't see him. Up until Poochie pulls up in a car, takes off one of Weather Report's legs, pulls up in the car, and Poochie emerged from the snails being damn unaffected by Weather Report's heavy weather ability. Because usually I'm pretty sure they like turn you into snails or something, because I'm pretty sure immediately after this, Anasui got turned into a fucking snail. And this is where we get that 1v1. Them niggas was going at it. Now Poochie, he was able to take off both of Weather Report's legs. Now they were replaced by Diver Down, but he still took them. And Weather, at this point, Weather don't give a fuck. He wants to die. Weather Report literally said that if he cannot get Poochie, he wants it to be over. So Weather Report, he's using his stand, ice spikes from the floor, then he used the dried up blood to make more ice spikes. And low-key, it looked like Weather had it. Like, really had it. He was low-key starting to mess up Poochie up until a car crashes into them. And guess who's in that damn car? Versus Jolene, Emporio, and Hermes. And since they lost control of the car, they crashed into the twins. And by the time they got out and tried to help Weather Report, he had already been stabbed through the chest. But he was able, which ended up actually saving them in the end, to get his stand disc and give it to Jolene. And that was the tragic passing of Weather Report. And I want to remind y'all with this, Weather Report only got to experience his from birth to teenage years actually having his memories but not knowing who he was. And then literally a day at the end of his life of him knowing who he was, having his teenage years, and also knowing why he was so angry with fucking Poochie. Like, I feel like there are very few characters I can say even deserve better. And Weather Report is definitely one of them. Having your names taken away from you, having your life taken away from you, and you get put in jail for something you didn't commit, and for something that wasn't even in your control, but you got put into it because your twin brother wants to play God. But if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, we're on the road to 2K. We're at 1.6. So please, thank you. And until next time, peace.